So this next presentation is about the Coastwatch Vertigo project, and it's a network-enabled data search, visualization, and extraction tool. It's currently in development. It's important because it aims to bridge the gap between unrelated data servers hosted by different organizations. I'll talk about the project goals and the features of the current beta version, and also some development challenges. So the typical steps, you could say, for using new data tend to be search for it online in a web browser, learn how to use the preview and the data download services provided by that data provider. In some cases, you may become an expert in those data services. Bookmark the data provider's website or save a web address in your code, your R, your MATLAB, your Python. And there's nothing wrong with the way that those services already operate. Vertigo just leverages the existing layered architecture that most data providers already have, a web interface and a data server. And it sits as the interface between the server and the user. So for example, you can see at the bottom here, it will handle level 2 and 3 data sets, local files, threads, ORDAP. That's the goal. So one thing is we don't really design software in a vacuum. It's important that we look at the functionality of existing software and how it's handled all of our use cases up until now, so that we're not designing in a void. And we need to design with these use cases still in mind. And so Coastwatch has a long heritage of writing software to help data users view and use Coastwatch data. One of those is the Coastwatch data analysis tool, among others. CDAT was originally designed by myself and John Sapper at Nesdis as a way to view and analyze AVHRR SST and Cloud Mask data files. And it displays data in data files that have been downloaded to your computer. It shows data in the same satellite swath projection or map projection, as Phil commented earlier. That the data is saved in. So typically geographic, Mercator, polar stereographic for the mapped products. It was designed for files that contain a single time step or vertical level, although it's been updated to some extent for more complex files. And you can do analysis on a per variable basis, single image, statistics and plots along lines and within boxes, as I showed. And you can save images or data subsets of all kinds of formats, NetCDF, GeoTIFF, JPEG, PDF, etc. So Vertigo development is based on some elements of the Coastwatch data analysis tool, but tries to take a more modern approach. It uses 3D accelerated hardware that's available on most laptops and desktops. It has the newest Java user interface design toolkit. Multi-threading in the CPU handles data download and managing the virtual globe at the same time. And the latest software build tools and an agile development cycle with releases on GitHub. And how it works differently from Coastwatch data analysis tool is it views data in both local files and remote data services. The data is projected onto the virtual globe to allow for combining data from different projections and data sources. It has time and vertical level controls, which I'll show in the demo. And there will be a time series data extraction function like the West Coast Extractomatic software. Users will be able to save and load project files like loading a PowerPoint presentation, so that everything that you were looking at is saved and you can bring it back. And you can communicate it to people. So communication between users. The Vertigo beta version currently, version 0.7, supports a single layer display of a local or remote level 2 or 3 data, tiled web maps, which is kind of like prepared images like are used on the OCView website, and I'll show that. And multiple time steps and levels and saving of snapshots. The next stage of Vertigo development, it has been challenging. It's become more challenging as new features are added. And so I've paused distributing new packages in order to refactor the code for a better design. And the newest beta version is being redesigned into more independent layers. The user interface is the layer that the user sees and interacts with. There's a layer for managing the GPU, the graphics processing unit. So that's the 3D graphics engine that feeds image textures and triangular meshes of points and line segment data to the GPU to render. There's the data loader and that retrieves data from the network on demand as the user is moving to that area of the world and prepares it for rendering and caches it potentially. And all the while, multiple CPU threads are loading all of this data intelligently from these geographic data sources and combining them. So these are the layers that we'll be having in the software in the future, in the next version. So Vertigo is available, current version 0.7 on GitHub. It has build instructions, installable packages, everything you need to run it under Windows, Mac, or Linux. In most cases, it's very simple to install. And that's the web address. And it comes, like I said, with those 3 flavors. You can also build it yourself with one command if you have an open JDK compiler on your computer, so it's pretty quick. All right, so I'll do a quick demo, and then I'll be done.